Hello, guys. Welcome back to the Blackout Tea channel. I hope you guys are having a blessed and wonderful Saturday. We're going to go ahead and get into this story of Kada Scott. She is the missing 23-year-old out in Philadelphia. She has been missing since the 4th, guys. This story is just sad. Kadia was somebody that was actually adventurous, but she was also an entrepreneur. She was building, and she was also doing pageants. They do now have a young individual by the name of Keon King in custody. However, he's actually only being held on kidnapping charges for now. We're going to go ahead and get into the story. Do me a favor, thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not, turn on those post notification bells so that you guys are notified each and every time I do bring you these videos. So we're going to go ahead and let's...
Kada Scott's father is speaking to CBS News Philadelphia as we now hit the 2-week mark since she went missing. Take a listen.
Things are not good, but we still are positive. Kada is alive and well somewhere, and we're going to get her home. A lot of family and friends and community as a whole wants to participate, do something to help bring Kada home. So we had the idea of going through Alderbury Park.
That community search is set for 5 p.m. tonight there in Northwest Philadelphia. Meantime, the man suspected of kidnapping Scott, Keon King, has been arrested and charged. He is being held on a $250,000 bond.
What I can tell you is that every single effort that can be made to help Kada and her family is being made.
District Attorney Larry Krasner also says that King has a history of similar charges to the ones he is currently facing, including stalking. Krasner went on to urge any other possible victims of King's to come forward. A prayer vigil was held last night at the senior living facility where Scott was last seen 2 weeks ago.
All hope has been lost. Yes. We have mustard seed faith to believe that Kada will come home. And it's going to happen suddenly.
I do want Kada and her family to know that they're not by themselves.
Now, earlier this week, a phone case, bank card, and glasses believed to belong to Scott were found near Ada Lewis Middle School. Investigators are hoping those items can help lead them to her. Meantime, her family has now upped a reward for credible information. It now stands at $12,000.
Guys, this is a sad story. This young lady has been doing good things in her life and trying to progress and move forward, and to have somebody to snuck her in the middle of her trying to create a path for herself, it has been very, very much so a saddening situation. So like I was telling y'all, Kada Scott, her disappearance is going on right now as we speak. There is a viral TikTok video allegedly shows Kada Scott kidnapping suspect Keon King prowling in a woman's backyard, and we'll take a look at that here in a minute, and peering into her window. Sources say the video was actually used as evidence in a previous kidnapping and assault case that was later dismissed by the district attorney's office because they stated that the victim did not show up to court. However, we're finding out that the victim actually said that she never received notification. The search for Kada Scott has unfolded since her disappearance on October 4th, when police say she was last seen shortly after arriving to work at a senior living facility that she was currently working at. So they're saying that she's only actually been
until we have a resolution.
At the job for maybe
so here's some new
20
info. This 21-year-old Keon King,
when this happened,
who they arrested, he turned himself in and then they arrested him, has been in connection to the disappearance of Kada. He is now being held on a huge bond, $2.5 million.
So Shayna is live with more on all the charges and more on the investigation.
Yeah, today marks day 13 In the search for Kada Scott, 23 years old, and you mentioned it, 21-year-old Keon King, now facing a slew of charges, including kidnapping in connection to the disappearance of Kada Scott. Now, we are learning some new details about him, but let me give you a background in terms of where we are and how we got here. Now, Kada Scott was last seen on October 4th at her job at the Terrace at Chestnut Hills Senior Living Facility. This was back on October the 4th, and her family has been searching for her ever since. Now, Philadelphia police found some significant evidence at a former middle school near Arboretum here in Philadelphia, right by Germantown, so about 2.5 miles away from where she was last seen. There, it was where evidence was found, including a bank card with her name on it, and her cell phone case was found in that abandoned lot. Then on Wednesday, a tip led police to locate Keon King's vehicle, which was parked at a condominium complex in East Falls. The car was towed and is now being processed for information and evidence, as police do believe at this point that Scott may have been inside that vehicle. Now, when it comes to the suspect, Keon Scott, 21 years old, as you mentioned, held on $2.5 million bail. He has quite the history when it comes to his rap sheet. We're learning he has a protection from abuse order against him for another woman in a separate case, which is still active until 2027. And we're going to pop up a video that's actually part of that investigation there. The victim in that case recording him attempting to break into her property there. And then that particular case that we're talking about that you're seeing, apparently that was dismissed by the DA's office, that case. But then since Kada Scott disappearing and since Keon King being connected to that, allegedly by investigators, the DA had refiled those charges in that case. So not only is he connected to a prior kidnapping case, but also a stalking case, as well as a rape case as well. So he has quite the rap sheet here, which is why he's held on such a high bail at this point. We heard directly from the family of Kada Scott. We actually heard from the dad just yesterday on Good Day. This is what he had to say.
With Kada not being with us, and as you know, each day the desperation grows.
There's one person out there that is a good friend of his that, you know, has a heart, and you know, understands the severity of this and speaks up.
Let my daughter go. Bring my daughter back home. She has loved ones, family, friends that all care about her. She has a bright head on her shoulders, a great future. You know, people make mistakes. If she's alive and breathing, you know, just get her back home, you know?
We want her home.
Again, that was Kada Scott's dad and her uncles on Good Day just yesterday. Now, we're live right outside of the Topgolf along Roosevelt Boulevard, and this is actually one of the locations that Kada Scott was last seen before she went missing. Now, she was last seen at the job, right? But she actually went on a date that night before returning, and so she went on this date with a separate guy, with an unrelated man, and then when she came home from her date, her mom says she saw her for a few minutes before she headed out to go to her job. So these are the two last locations that Kada Scott was seen, which is why we're live out here, hoping that anyone has any information on that. The family has a GoFundMe account. We have a link to it on our website.
So if anyone has information in or around the situation, either Kada Scott, or if you have information on this Keon King individual, they are asking you guys to reach out via their tip line at
their own funds to hopefully motivate someone to come forward with information. But also Philadelphia Police has a tip line as well. Anybody is encouraged to come forward with information. Certainly they are looking for the safe return of Kada Scott, guys.
Please.
Now, the reason why they've got him on a so high bond, they said that this guy is known for selling drugs. They said that he is somebody that has money. And apparently the first case that got thrown out is a case that he actually was able to bail out on, and they did not want him to be able to bail out this time. So apparently their concern was placing a high bond is going to be better. The prosecutors had said that they mentioned placing a high bond the first time around when he was stalking the individual through the window that you just saw that recording of, and the actual judge took that bond down. And this is why he was able to get out. They said he was able to get out pretty quickly. So, Keon King, a suspect in the disappearance of 23-year-old Kada Scott, is allegedly seen prowling in a woman's backyard and peering into her window in a TikTok that police sources say was used as evidence in a dismissed kidnapping and assault case earlier this year. King, 21, was charged on Wednesday with kidnapping for ransom, false imprisonment, stalking, and other charges. Scott's disappearance is among a number of criminal allegations involving women against King. A video posted to TikTok allegedly shows King prowling in the woman's backyard and peering into her window. Call the cops. The woman is heard shouting to another person inside the home. Keon out there. Sources say the TikTok was used as evidence in a kidnapping case earlier this year in which King was accused of abducting and assaulting a woman. The case was dismissed, however, by the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office after the victim twice failed to appear in court. Now, they're saying that she failed to appear in court. This young lady is saying she never actually received anything to show up in court, and this is why she actually never actually was seen to court. Prosecutors have moved to refile those charges after King's most recent arrest in the disappearance of Kada Scott. Now, it is said that this young guy is something type of weird. It seems like he saw Kada because it doesn't seem like they've been in a relationship or even had a friendship for a long period of time. And this was somebody that he was very much so interested in, whereas he even asked a friend about her. He was asking about her as of what type of individual she was and of that type of nature. So that sort of tells you as well that he was looking to get into something with her. Kada Scott disappeared on October 4th, shortly after she arrived to work an overnight shift at the Terrace at Chestnut Hill Senior Living Facility. Scott's last phone ping led investigators to the 55-acre Aubrey. Sorry about that, guys. Aubrey Auditorium in the Eastmont area, but nothing was found at that time. Again, if you guys are seeing things, or if you know of anybody that has had any interactions with this young man, they are actually asking you to please reach out to the tip line. They are now trying to get any information. At least they were able to find a couple of her items that were thrown here and there, it looks like, as they were searching. However, they have not been able to find her. From some things that I've actually researched as well, it seems like this guy came with a lot of trickery. He was somebody that knew how to finagle. He had the gift of gab. Even one young lady said that at the time when he approached her in a sensible way, to where she actually got into a relationship with him. It took her about 3 times to get in certain instances with him, and then for something to actually happen. So at the end of the day, it looks like this has actually been something that's still actually being searched at the moment. So we're going to go ahead and get into some of the TikTok posts that we have here.
I feel that she's not safe, and that's the problem.
Kevin Scott and Kim Matthews want you to take a good look at this photo. It's of their 23-year-old daughter, Kada Scott, who hasn't been seen by family since October 4th.
Last few days been crazy, head spinning, trying to figure out what's going on.
Scott's family reported her missing the day after she didn't return home from an overnight shift at an assisted living facility in Chestnut Hill. Philadelphia police say Scott's co-workers told them that she did show up to work that night, but left before her shift ended. Captain John Craig says what makes that concerning is that Scott didn't leave in her car and that her phone is now currently off.
You have a 23-year-old young lady who has completely disappeared. We have no cell phone activity or social media activity, and she's not reached out to family or friends.
Police have since recovered the car Scott used to drive to work, hoping to collect evidence that can connect them to her whereabouts. Detectives also are investigating a possible lead about Scott being harassed before she went missing.
Harassed, threatened, so we're a little concerned because she didn't tell us, of course, but other her friends, and she did mention it to them, but didn't give any names, names or anything like that. So we're trying to piece everything together to find out exactly who these people are.
Putting up these missing persons flyers in hopes someone can help police in the investigation.
Thinking positive, she's okay, so wherever she's at, and we're going to find her. That's what I'm thinking right now, thinking positive.
I feel that she's not safe, and that's the problem.
Kevin Scott and Kim Matthews want you to.
Guys, so it's just been a mess. This is
Live coming out of the condominium complex. This is the vehicle police have been searching for several days now. They made the plea to the public to help them find this 1999 Toyota Camry that you are looking at right now during a news conference at 10:30 this morning, when they told us that they had charged Keon King with kidnapping Kada Scott. Live coming out of.
So a thing that I looked at, this is a gated community, okay? He took this vehicle, his vehicle, inside and was able to hide it. So lo and behold, he had to have access to get inside of that community. So that's another thing. Somebody may have lived there that he knew. Somebody could have given him an actual key fob to be able to access, but somehow, somewhere, he was given access into this apartment complex. Okay, that's another thing that actually struck me.
1999.
Well, police say that this is Kada Scott's last known location. It's this nursing home behind me here. It's called the Terrace at Chestnut Hill, and she was last seen here by her coworkers on October 4th. Police say she drove to work for an overnight shift at around 10 o'clock. She left shortly after arriving, leaving behind her car and, quote, disappearing. They say her phone is off. Officers aren't able to ping her current location. This is the photo provided to police by her family. Police tell us before she disappeared, she relayed to friends and family that someone was harassing her through the phone. Investigators say they're trying to figure out who it was that was harassing her. And they say because of that, they're calling this case concerning.
You have a 23-year-old young lady who has completely disappeared. We have no cell phone activity or social media activity, and she's not reached out to family or friends.
If something is off, it's not right. I need as much help as I can, but something is definitely wrong. She wouldn't just leave and not contact anyone, none of her friends, family, respond back as far as text messages.
Now, police say that her family and friends tell them that this is very out of character of her, calling her energetic, saying she loves her family and friends, and she's always very active on social media. Of course, her social media has been not active for the past couple of days. They're asking if anybody may know her whereabouts to contact them immediately.
So this right here is what's very, very, very mysterious. You've got somebody that actually she does pageants. As a matter of fact, this photo that is being used is one of the photos that she used during one of her pageants. This is somebody that's very, very active on social media and has not been active since she was driven away in that vehicle. I think mysteriously something actually happened as soon as she drove up from her job. This guy seems to be somebody that's known for his creepiness. Yeah, guys, but you just gotta you gotta watch out for people. You gotta watch out for your neighbors. You gotta watch out for yourself. Prayers are up, definitely. If you guys know anybody in the Philadelphia area, and you're able to get information to them, if they're not familiar with the story, please do so that they can be on the lookout. They are actually looking. Neighbors, Philadelphia police are searching for 23-year-old Miss USA hopeful Kada Scott, who vanished after leaving for work on October 4th. Kada was last seen heading to her overnight shift at the Terrace at Chestnut Hill, an assisted living facility in Philadelphia. When she didn't return home, her family reported her missing. Police later found her car in the facility's parking lot, but her keys, phone, and iPad are gone. Captain John Craig said the case is puzzling because the building has no security cameras. Investigators confirmed Kada told friends she'd been getting harassing phone calls before she disappeared. Her father, Kevin Scott, said he didn't know about the calls until after she went missing. He described Kada as quiet, caring, and laid back, adding that she had just started the job 2 weeks earlier. Her mother, Kim Matthews, said Kada mentioned the disturbing calls but never gave names. Police recently searched the Aubrey a wooded area 3 miles from her job. After evidence led them there, they found some clothing items but hadn't confirmed if they're connected. I'm telling y'all, I believe that this guy watched her on this date that she went on, because she went out with a guy that has nothing to do with the case that they're saying, okay? She went out on a date before she even headed to work. She worked the overnight shift. And I believe what happened is she was actually being stalked at the time, probably didn't pay attention to it, but knew that this guy, Keon, was stalking her. And he probably tried to lure her with him after she had gotten to work. By this time, she was thinking to herself, hey, I'm going to dip out, talk to him in the car, and then I'll come back inside. But unfortunately, it did not end like that. For her to take her bank card, he could have also been asking her for money. And she said she probably thought to herself, well, let me go to the ATM. But it seems really suspicious that she would even offer to give somebody money or funds that she was not known for a long time period of time. So it's all been a mystery. We're going to keep up with the story. Please do me a favor. Like the channel, subscribe if you have not. Make sure that you're sharing the videos. We definitely want to get the information out there to folks that are not aware of this, for people to be on the lookout for anything. I mean, just information, period. I believe that, there are additional females that he has stalked before, as if he just did that the other young lady, okay? So this is not somebody that's new to this issue. I believe this fellow enjoys playing games when it comes down to women. So hopefully she is going to be found. But it's really looking as if right now it's really up in the air, because you're finding her items. Her cell phone has been turned off for a long period of time, hasn't been turned back on, and definitely for somebody that posts on social media as frequent and as much as she does, to not have any of that interaction from a 23-year-old is heartbreaking. You know that something is definitely deep, 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 dark and wrong. All right, guys, I love you so much. Thank you for stopping by, and have a wonderful rest of your Saturday.